Alright, good evening everybody. System Chalk here with the 4th episode of the Cultist Simulator Library run, playing as the detective. We are potentially about to arrest Pope Clifton, but we are also in a spot where we have emptied out Moorlands and we're beginning our bids at Oriflammes. So we're also getting close to maxing out our physique, which is nice because then we'll be able to focus on passion, and then hopefully by then we'll have some other things that we can use the study verb for in terms of moving up in the world. But before we go too much further, yes, let's actually we don't need to worry too much about planning. We'll just run ahead, and we've got a Season of Ardors coming up, which will be helpful for getting rid of the dread, although it may just expire on its own time, so we'll see where that goes. Another bidder. Someone else must have matched my bid. I've raised my hand. The auctioneer raps out an acknowledgement. Will anyone match me? This is the thing I was worried about. We should be in good shape. Okay, so there's 54 seconds left on the timer. Season of Visions coming up, so we don't need to worry about getting rid of the dread. Although we can, because I don't really have anything else to do with it. I've turned over my evidence to the Assistant Director General of the Suppression Bureau. At this moment, I can assume hard-faced men in plain clothing are pounding on the door of my quarry. And we've got a hanger-on. So again, this is going to generate a lot of mystique, but I'm not as worried about that. Mystique's not notoriety. And I figured the earlier I develop it, the better off I am. Alright, I am ready to grow stronger. This will work nicely. I'll grow stronger yet. And at this point, we'll just keep hammering the passion until we have the lessons learned that we need. Ah! Oh, that's bad. I didn't realize that there was another... someone else has matched my bid. I did not realize there was another bid. So, I'm going to take a quick second here. I got to make a note of this. So, it's Riley Gressa book. What the hell is it called? I just had it on the screen. It's fine. I'll work it out, but... Alright, that's a real bummer. Alright, this is not as interesting. A crowd of pinched faces, glinting eyes, who will bid? But this will be useful in terms of moving up the book of poetry. Okay, I need to make sure that my reason's ready, although what else would I use it for at this point? The sun still moves, the wind still walks, my journals are the labyrinth clue. Right, the Suppression Bureau holds their trials in closed court, and they are not merciful. My quarry disappears from the world. I have earned myself a promotion. So there's not as much sense in doing the physical labor. Well, okay, that's not entirely true, because it does, I earn money a little bit faster that way, but in this case here, I can keep working the tentative evidence. I think that gets me 2. Anyways, I'll stick with this for now. And the auctioneer makes a note of my name, signals one of the attendants. I have my prize. I hope it's worth it. We'll head again. We perch on alarming Rietveld chairs in a windowless auction room with vividly burnt orange walls, waiting for the auctioneer to announce what he's offering. The reek of new paint makes the brain spin. Yet another collection of poetry. Makes it easier to upgrade it, but... Right, I could carry a man across a river now, or strangle him. So, again, this is one that would require... Actually, I'm slightly curious if I employ the... Grail, that might make me graceful. Maybe we'll worry about that once we're able to access the wood. It'll make life quite a bit easier. All right. Stumm. A can of nitrate film labeled Stumm, silent or perhaps mute. The director's name, Yernak Krossa, is shakily appended. Sent to the pages. What hungers drive me? And we've got another troublemaker, someone who's lost all sense of proportion. There are reports, troubling reports of this one. Our progress, the constant clatter of closing doors, the damp stains on the station walls, the smell of boot polish and unwashed constables. All this narrows to a single crystalline truth. I've made progress and earned myself some overtime today. Though we might as well try to bring in the troublemaker. And we've got a hanger on, another hanger on. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. And I cannot forget what I saw in the file on Daniel December. So we will use our reason. I am discipline. I am all discipline. I haven't lasted this long to give up so easily. The auctioneer makes a note of my name and signals one of the attendants. I have my prize. I hope it's worth it. Alright, we still have the money, so we will continue to attend Oriflamme's auctions. And I've passed the time. I've been inclined to tears and afterwards inclined to laughter. Meanwhile, the world continues. So we're going to keep throwing passion at the study verb. Okay, this is De Bellis Murorum. So we have the victory of crowns, but not De Bellis. So I've raised my hand. The auctioneer raps out an acknowledgement. Will anyone match me? And we do not have any despair on the table, so I'm in good shape there. The auctioneer makes a note of my name and signals one of the attendants. I have my prize. I hope it's worth it. Investigation has turned up no new leads. I should have taken a look and, to see how much I got from that, but we will have another crack at it. Investigating a target, the more reason I use, the better my chances of success. And we have got another copy of Gildersleeve's Latin Grammar, so I actually think this is not a bad idea for me to make a bid for. The temptation is past for now. Excuse me. Thought this place was a little less sneeze-provoking, but maybe I need to clean again? I just cleaned. Anyways. I passed the time, I've been inclined to tears and afterwards inclined to laughter. Meanwhile, the world continues. So, in this case, we're going to go straight back in. Now, I could turn this into a lesson learned, but the idea is I want to extend the life of these as long as possible. We can use the collections of poetry, but, you know, the later I make it, the better. So, the auctioneer makes a note of my name and signals one of the attendants. I have my prize. I hope it's worth it. So, I can now learn Latin without worrying about disrupting the library, which is nice. Alright, a crowd of pinched faces, glinting eyes. Who will bid? Same story here with Kerner and Goethe. If I buy that, I can get myself Latin and Greek. the investigation has turned up no new leads. So yeah, essentially we get 2 funds for every 60 seconds. That seems to be the best option I have for making money right now. And we've got Eau Claire. Eau Claire has a scholarly aspect and a morbid streak. So we will continue to talk about the Megalesian incantation, basically until we run out of people that we can bring in as acquaintances. All right, the auctioneer makes a note of name and signals one of the attendants. I have my prize. I hope it's worth it. And back to Oriflamme's. This is a collection of essays. I'm going to buy that just because it would be nice to get a leg up in terms of getting that last level of reason. It's a little wasteful, but I figure I might as well. I'll make what I can of it. Okay, so in this case we've got 57 seconds left. Now we want to double up the glimmering, and then we'll employ the passion one more time. Again, if we get I guess it would be a grail. Well, no, actually we have grail, so we could potentially have an event that inspires some glimmering. And the auctioneer makes a note of my name and signals one of the attendants. I have my prize. I hope it's worth it. So, again, we'll go to Oriflamme's. When we run out of money, we'll have to find something else to do. So, Dartsides is not a bad one to have either. I'd prefer, something a little more occult, but... Alright, I've turned over my evidence to the Assistant Director General of the Suppression Bureau. At this moment, I can assume hard-faced men in plain clothing are pounding on the door to my quarry. Or of my quarry. The auctioneer makes a note of my name and signals one of the attendants. I have my prize. I hope it's worth it. And there are more windows in my soul, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. So we've got the lesson learnt. We will use passion now so that we can get the second lesson learnt. And something, deep mystery something. So we have used up all of our normal sources of all of our normal sources of all of the normal sources of books. I'm wondering if I can read this actually. I haven't won the auction. The auction's over. The lot has gone elsewhere. I retain my funds. So what do I want to do with the explore verb now? You know what? Okay, so I have a bit of a game plan if it comes down to it, in terms of how I want to use the explore verb. Or sorry, not the explore verb, but how I'm going to get access to secret histories and expeditions and such. We're not quite at that point yet, but I do sort of have an idea in terms of how this is all going to work. Now, right now, I don't really need the money, but I am going to keep working just because what else am I going to do, right? So, the Suppression Bureau holds their trials in closed court, and they are not merciful. My quarry disappears from the world. I have earned myself a promotion. So in this case, this is the best way for me to make money. We'll not put a lot of effort into the search, but okay, we've got Sulochana, the laconic, energetic, bright-eyed, unblinking owner of the Ecdysis Club. So right now, I'm just going to see how many people I can get before we run out of options. There are two things. So if I get secret histories, that gets me access to more books. But what I'm actually interested in is getting access to the Mansis. So again, if I can, I would prefer to get either Lantern or Moth. Or Tigers of Wrath are wiser than the horses of instruction. If I spend time studying what I've learnt, I could work towards increasing my passion. I need to make sure I have a reason available to deal with the sealed bureau file. What hungers drive me? Violet. Violet has found new hobbies. There are reports, troubling reports of this one. Sent to the pages. I cannot forget what I saw in the file on Daniel December. I am discipline. I am all discipline. I haven't lasted this long to give up so easily. So it looks like another patron's on the way. I'm trying to think what else I might want to do with the explore verb at the moment. Street Strange by Moonlight seems like a neat possibility. Okay, don't need to worry about the hireling. I mean, I might worry about the hireling later, but for now, that's not a priority. But yeah, so the reason why I say I want to focus on Lantern or Moth is that Lantern or Moth would give me access to a stream of expeditions as opposed to just one secret history, which is going to get me some books, but then I'm left trying to find where the next secret history is going to come from. So that's the main focus here. There are more windows in my soul now, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. So we will take our vivid imagination and move that up. So, who desires but acts not breeds pestilence. Again, we're in a pretty decent... Oh, I like this. Violet long in the making. I'm pretty happy with the money situation right now, because in the end we're probably going to have to rely on a lot of hires to be able to make the get through the expeditions. Okay, so my investigation's turned up no new leads, and in this case this is really more about earning money. The temptation is past for now. Dr. Ibn al-Adim. So it would be nice to talk to these people, but unless they want a Grail commission, there's not a whole lot I have to say to them. So right now I'm interested in just making acquaintances with as many people as I can before I wind up arresting them all. Better not, I must be careful of the company I keep. So we'll continue to search the city. If we find more hirelings, that's fine. Really, though, this is just a chance for me to try and find Street Strange by Moonlight to try and do something with the Explore verb. An overlooked place I might have found somewhere unusual. And my desires grow in number. It may be that they will always outpace my actions. I've been known to break 6 pencils in a day. So in this case, we're just going to keep generating that glimmering. Street Strange by Moonlight, so we'll go a little more aggressively with it. I want to be kind of careful because it can generate fascination and dread. Obviously that's... or I can't remember if it generates dread, but it is something that can still affect us. Let's keep on going with the naps. An adversary is asking searching questions about my activities. And progress. The constant clatter of closing doors, the damp stains on the station walls, the smell of boot polish and unwashed constables. All this narrows to a single crystalline truth. I've made progress and earned myself some overtime pay. Looking good. So, we will submit the damning evidence with one reason. Never guaranteed to work, but again, this is really more about earning some money over time at this point. Street is strange in the hour called Miniscate. Force of the Heart. Not exactly what I need, but I'm not going to complain about it either. And again, here this is just going to keep... We're going to just flog the passion as much as we can until we... Probably shouldn't be saying flog the passion so much over this close to Easter, but you know what I meant. Streets are strange in the hour called Menascate. Yeah, in this case here, we're really just trying to earn as much as we can without investing books or other resources. Rivalry, here's another who had said before me. In this case, looks like they're going to try and find a site. This is the thing I need to worry about the most while I'm working as an inspector, is if I find a location and don't explore it right away, it's quite likely I will lose it. So, anyways, there's Elizabeth. Investigations turned up no new leads. Not the worst thing that could happen, because we do actually need the person to be available for arrest. I should be talking about the Megalesian incantation. Visions pass me with pavane grace, a window over wood, a garden of ice, a shivering sun, a woman of glass. I will return home with reluctance. So this is going to be helpful in terms of summons. I don't know if I guess... So I've got a Grail, I've got a Fascination, and a Knock, so... I don't know if we have quite the intensity to be able to bring a Raw Prophet in, but... But these are the sorts of things that I want to start thinking about, right? Because again, the temptation is always to crack open one of the books, but that's not consistent with the goal I've set up for myself. Okay, we're going to do one more run on the Passion, and then we'll start doubling these up. Okay, there's Contentment. And again, I don't need to worry about the Season of Suspicion. We've kind of got a pretty steady trail of Mystique coming through, but I'm not too worried about any notoriety popping up. The way I would probably wind up with notoriety is if I visited the Ecdysis Club, so I control that a little bit more. Okay, we've got a minute, so we will definitely get Violet. And this was lucky. I am going to visit the Street Strange by Moonlight again, but I'm always happy to have an extra glimmering. If I get a Season of Visions, I may be a little worried, but... Okay, I've turned over my evidence to the Assistant Director General of the Suppression Bureau. At this moment, I can assume hard-faced men in plain clothing are pounding on the door of my quarry. So, let's start by doubling this up. I think we needed 3, so I have one more glimmering that I need to claim. But where I can, I want to do that at the last minute so that I can preserve... Oh, there we go. I'll maybe double check that it is in fact 3 that I need, but... At this point, I will stop the visits just because I don't... Okay, so we did have a Season of Visions coming up, but the Fascination's going to disappear. So this is a great time to not mess with the Street Strange by Moonlight. The Suppression Bureau holds trials in closed court, and they are not merciful. My quarry disappears from the world, and I have earned myself a promotion. So, again, pretty wealthy detective at this point. We've got Slee as an acquaintance. And we're going to do our usual thing, which is to speak of esoteric matters. There is one thing I would like to check with my Grail lore at some point, but I'm not quite there yet. I think it's a higher priority to try and get more bodies bodies in. Also, I should have been following up on my investigations. So I apologize. I don't know if these are... I mean, again, if these are becoming too tedious to watch, definitely feel free to, you know, let me know, and I'll try and calibrate where I'm heading. One of the drawbacks here is that now that I've got the lore, it's good for, you know, filling out the ranks, but because I don't have access to the... because I don't have access to the Mansus, there's quite a few characters, and it takes about 2 minutes each time that I want to get one. So if I can find something else to do that's a little more faster paced, I want to be able to do that. But again, unless I open one of these books, I'm not going to be able to visit the Mansus, and I've already exhausted my my purchasing options for books. So in this case here, the building up my skills is really just mostly because I can, and it's nice to sort of work out some differences. But at the moment, I'm a little more focused. I'll search the city just because if I can get a Course of the Heart, that saves me a lot of trouble earning money. Actually, I guess in this case, it would make more sense for me to use my skill Hardened Physique. We'll figure it out. Be wary. There are reports, troubling reports of this one. So Laidlaw. Laidlaw's schemes are intricate as Fern Shadow. Okay, my investigation has turned up no leads. I think in this case... tentative evidence isn't about to be lost, so we'll use Arms of Steel. Once again, I put my strength to use. And this is just so I can get the vitality for the sickness. Perils of Renown. My mystique has attracted the hunter's attention. They can prove nothing yet, but they'll keep looking longer now. Right, there are more windows in my soul, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. So we've got... 2 and now 3. I guess I said I was going to check that I needed 3 with a wild imagination, but we'll find out one way or another. Okay, Dread's on the way. Yeah, we're in good shape. It'd be nice if we were making a bit more progress on Laidlaw, but the worst that happens is we just need to, we just need to get tentative evidence against him through other means. And it turns out we did get the Course of the Heart after all. So we will rest up. It's got a spare vitality. I'm not going to complain about it, just it's a little wasteful. And there we go. Hopefully that turns into damning evidence after a while. And what did we get here? Neville! Alright, we don't have to put you behind bars. Come with me. Neville pauses before he speaks and flinches easily. He laughs whenever he thinks you've made a joke. I know I missed, I think Slee and Yzabet. Will definitely, assuming that I make a cult, I will definitely read their descriptions before we turn them into followers. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. So then, you may raise the question, well, why not found the cult now? You have... you have a lore that you can dedicate it to. One, it does generate notoriety, which, particularly now would be a bad idea. But I just don't need it at the moment. It's not necessarily going to get me something that I require. And it actually can hurt me in a few ways in its current form. So I'll just be patient with it, knowing that I have knowing I have the option if I choose. Right, so there are more windows in my soul, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. So, wild imagination. Fiercest, sooner murder an infant in its cradle than nurse unacted desires. So, in terms of, excuse me, skills, that's basically the last of it. Everything else has to be augmented through lore. So, now, the Grail will allow me... I'm pretty sure it'll allow both the physique and the passion. No new leads, but again, at this point we're really doing it for the money. Come with me. And we reserve the reason for the next temptation, but we're in good shape there. So the health is going to be a little bit harder just because, like, I can use the study verb, but I do still need to worry about like my day job. So I don't have the opportunity to sort of spam the work site over and over again. I mean, theoretically, I can get suspended and then just beg for my job back, but I don't really like doing that. I mean, again, even though I'm doing a challenge run, that doesn't mean I want to behave in a way that's inconsistent with, like how I imagine a character like this would work. So I'm going to need to think a little bit about those practicalities, but overall I think we'll be in a decent shape. Okay, what do I want study-wise? Let's start with the health. Room grows close and stale, time to get up. And actually, if we're doing that, we should also search the city in order to try and promote the number of... in order to advance the number of courses of the heart. I'm safe for now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they found no new clues. So we'll see how the investigation turns out. We do have Laidlaw doing Laidlaw things. Looks like they're trying to find an expedition, which we don't currently have. And investigation turns up no new leads. He's a slippery one, that Laidlaw. Okay. So again, we use the heart in Dream in order to try and provoke a course of the heart. And we continue to search the city by foot so that we can earn... so we potentially get a course of the heart. So, Cat Caro, come with me, and I think we'll talk about Mega Legion Incantation. I was actually planning on wrapping up a little bit earlier, but I really got absorbed. So all right, where was I? So we were looking for is the true and complete accounting, so on and so forth. So yeah, I need to think about where I'm going to get that from. But that's currently on the list of... Actually, I mean, maybe it's possible that I can't get... This is actually something I should take a look at. So it's possible that by losing that text, I've sort of failed the run, and I should sort of start over again. Now that is actually something that I should be able to test. So I will take a look to see if I can obtain that from anywhere other than Oriflamme's. But if I fail to get it, from there, what I'll do is I will see this through to completion, and then we will continue the Librarian run, but as a different character. But in any case, thank you very much for watching. I hope this was an interesting diversion from what I normally do. Again, I'm still going to take the run seriously, but it's kind of fun to have this constraint of not reading books to get lore and seeing what I can do with less. And again, it's not exactly the same as like doing a challenge run where you try to, ascend without founding a cult or anything like that. But it's still a neat one. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.